So, if you had to pick the best Lunchable, why would it be the ham and cheese Lunchable?
Wrong. Immediately wrong.
No.
Immediately wrong.
What are you going to say? Turkey and Swiss?
Turkey. No,
Yeah.
it's turkey and cheddar.
You're ridiculously wrong here.
The ham comes with the Swiss, and that's why the ham is inferior.
No.
Well, no, Swiss is the better cheese.
No,
but
not in Lunchable land. No, you need the sharpest cheddar possible because that is not good cheese. So you need it to be sharp.
Okay.
It's the ham all the way.
Well, sure. Like I mean, if we're throwing pizzas in there, then pizza, you could have pizza anytime.
What did you all ever have the taco Lunchables?
I've had some taco Lunchables in the past.
Well, I liked the soft shell taco one. I don't think that lasted as long as
I never got Lunchables because my mom said they were too expensive.
I only got them during like a track meet or something like that because it was like
very special occasions.
Yeah,
I remember feeling so cool when I had my Lunchable. Most of the time, I packed a buttock meat sandwich.
We were a big Lunchable household.
When I was in high school, we had like off-campus lunch. We could go wherever we needed to, like within drivable distance. I remember I would make, like I had a lunch budget of like $4 a day to try and like make that work. And you could do pretty good in the early 2000s, like at a McDonald's or something with $4.
Yeah, before Joe Biden.
Thanks, Biden. Well, we can't agree on Lunchables here at the Casual Hour, but we can maybe talk about video games. The nacho ones were terrible.
They're like tiny little. It's like quarter-size nachos, and the cheese was. I mean, it's a Lunchable, so it's fucking cold.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's terrible, awful. Garbage. If you've walked into this, we are the authoritative voice on Lunchables, but we're also the internet's darlings when it comes to video game discussion. This is the Casual Hour podcast, ostensibly about video games, but tonight mostly about the month of September. I'm Bobby Pease. Joining me, the co-host that you love the most, Chase Kinnicky and Johnny Amizich. How are you both doing?
Doing well, thank you, Bobby.
We have arguably the biggest month list to get through to date. I think this is the biggest month.
I don't even think it's an argument.
Very long list.
In terms of quality, maybe an argument. In terms of quantity, this is a big fucking list.
I would argue
I tried to cut it way down.
I think that this is one of the best months that we've covered. And I'm super excited to talk through tonight. The way that we do these episodes, we will be talking about the games that we've been playing. We're also then going to go and revisit our top picks from last month and see how they held up to the test of time. And then we're going to show some trailers and talk about the games that are coming out in September. And that includes all those free games with like PlayStation Plus, games with Gold, Game Pass, etc. And then we'll round out the night with our picks for the month. So we've got a lot to get into. Buckle up, get cozy, and we're just going to get right to it. Chase, what have you been playing?
Well, as my shirt may imply, I've been playing Gundam game.
Wow, that seems on brand.
It does indeed. I've been playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance, which is the newest game from Bandai Namco. You guys have heard me talk about the SD Gundam games before.
Have we not talked about that on the show? I feel like we talked about this.
No, man. Nope. I've talked about other SD Gundam games, not this one.
My bad.
Okay, that's fine. The ones I've talked about on the podcast before have been turn-based strategy games, which I like a lot because they're turn-based strategy games. This one is not that. It's done by a different developer, but it does take the SD Gundams, the super deformed Gundams. So these are like the squishy, smaller ones. Yeah, little cuties, and this is there you go. Not quite Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl tater tots. Those are some bad tots. These are good tots. And so what it does is it doesn't do a turn-based strategy game anymore. This is an action game that you can play with up to 2 other people. and you do like some squad based
Fire team
stuff.
shit, right?
Yeah, fire teams when you're all in different mobile suits, and you do like little bite sized levels. The premise of the game is that you are in the 1 year war, which Bobby, you're very well familiar with the 1 year war. Between who are the two factions there in the 1 year war?
It's Autobots
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and uh, Optimus Prime.
I
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, like a civil war kind of thing going on. Okay,
I
see.
can't. I mean, look, if it's all those
It's
robots
not.
are,
It's not.
they
It's
all
not a
look the
Monday
same.
night. It's not a Monday night. You weren't prepared to talk about
They
aliens
all
tonight.
look.
I understand.
They all
I
look the
understand.
same. They all look the same. They all do the same thing. They all look the same. They're all robots. What else do you want me to say?
The 1 year
Next.
war between the Earth Federation forces and Xeon, the Republic of Xeon, which I think you were about to say, I'm sure.
Yes.
So
Naturally.
you are you're just like a commander guy in there, and you've got somebody in your ear giving you tech stuff, and both of you get transported to this weird kind of alternate dimension time cop thing, where there's a big computer that's running simulations of every Gundam timeline and is recreating history, but also it's got some bugs in it, so some things are breaking into other timelines
This sounds
that
like
shouldn't be there.
absolute hell. I don't ever want to be in that timeline. Ever.
Well, you don't want to be in any Gundam timeline because I'll tell you, they're all pretty bad. They're all pretty
Ugh.
rough
Lots
to
of-
live through.
Lots of war. Yeah.
Lots of war, lots of kids dying, because the kids have to get in the mechs to do the stuff. Anyway, so the timelines are kind of merging in ways that are bad, and you need to go in and fix these missions, but then you also get to play missions where you see how the established canon was supposed to play out. Although you can be in whatever suit you want to be, and they seem to have no problem with that.
So this is just Ashton Kutcher's The Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the Gundam effect.
A flap
Gundam.
of one's moonlight butterfly wings can change everything.
I'm glad I understand.
So you're in here. You're person who's like a programmer hacker named Juno. She is also there with you, and then there's this AI named Sakura Slash, who is kind of guiding you through the different break missions that you have to go and do, and then you can do the true missions after that. And when you play these things, it's a little bit like Monster Hunter, where you're taking on kind of these bite-sized hunts.
You don't get to talk about Monster Hunter. You don't like it. That's our game.
I don't. You're correct. I do not like Monster Hunter. The mechanic, though, is that when you defeat things, they will drop things.
Sounds like a great mechanic.
And then you can pick up those drops, and those drops can then be formed into new things.
New gear.
Kind of. They'll drop either just regular parts that you can throw onto your stuff as just like equipables for, here's some buff stats, or here's a new skill that you can do. But it will also drop blueprints, and those blueprints can be used if you have enough of the right ones, can be exchanged for a brand new mobile suit for you to use.
Oh,
so you're basically collecting a bunch of different suits from the various Gundam animes and taking them in for these missions. And you can level up all the suits separately, and you also, if you're not playing with friends, you get 2 AI companions, again, kind of like Monster Hunter, that will fight with you. So there's always 3 people in your group at any one time. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded a quick look of it, and I got a chance to take a look at.
Yeah, that'll be up next week, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that it's got some possibility to it, and I think that as somebody who doesn't really have an appreciation for the subject matter, and like purely looking at it from just like a video game perspective, I think that you could probably find similar experiences, maybe a bit more polished. And I think especially like I'm not here to try and talk about like cost too much, but like I will point to If you're looking for a game to play with your friends, like Destiny is free to play. It's got very different approach to the gameplay, but a similar vibe. And I would say if you are a huge fan of, Gundam in general, this is probably going to really tickle part of you that like you're excited about. I don't know for people who are maybe on the fringe like myself or not super invested in Gundam in general, there might not be enough to hook you here from what I was seeing. But I do think if you are into Gundam, it's a cool way to take that in because it is inherently different than like some of the stuff that you called out with like turn-based strategy, because maybe you don't like that genre of games and maybe you want to have a chance to experience Gundam in a new way. Like I could see value there, but I did find it maybe more style than substance from what I saw, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a relatively accurate assessment. I mean, the combat is not anything crazy. It's a little stiff. It's functional, but it's a little stiff.
Is it button mashy?
No, not exactly. I mean, you
Are you doing combos and stuff, or
you are doing combos. You have light attacks and heavy attacks, and you can chain your lights into heavies and then back into your lights. It also has a number of main and sub weapons that you can use that are, for some people, it's just projectile attacks. For others, it's a mix of projectiles and kind of special melee attacks or lunge kind of attacks. And those are on cooldowns, or you can use them so much, and then they have to go on a cooldown. And you have a boost meter as well, and that boost meter also goes into your melee weapons, so you cannot infinitely chain your lights and heavies. You can only do it as long as you have boost, but you also need to use boost to literally boost around and use dodges and things like that. It's got a guard system too, and if you perfectly guard, you can counter enemies, or you can perfect guard and take less damage and take less guard power, because enemies can break through your guard if they hit you too much. It's a functional system of combat, and it works okay. The levels are not super long, maybe 15 minutes max that I've dealt with so far. And they're built to be repeatable. You go in, you fight a couple things, they drop some blueprints. Different missions drop different specific kinds of blueprints, so you can kind of target farm that, I'm looking to get the Gundam F91, so I want to do this mission a number of times because that's the one that drops those kinds of blueprints. I need to grab them. The fighters are all, or the suits are all split up into 3 different categories as well. There's an in-fighter, which is mainly there to do melee damage. They're the ones that will generally have more of those kind of lunge attacks for their sub-weapons. You have sharpshooters, who are more ranged, and then you have all-arounders, who are kind of a bit of both.
the Marios of the Gundam.
There you go. Yeah, and again, it's fine. It's if you like Gundam like I do, it's cool to see the suits. It's cool to see the cannon. It's cool to see the cannon get broken, and then you have to fix it. There's a lot of Japanese voice acting in it, so there's a lot of stuff that you're going to absolutely miss if you're in mid-mission, because it's just a lot of people talking in Japanese that you're not looking at because you're too busy playing an action game. I will say that I think the translated or the localized parts in the between missions, I think that's all relatively well done. It's a light tone, but it's fun, and it's pretty referential, and I kind of enjoy it. So if you are a big Gundam fan like I am, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it. If you don't know or care about Gundam, there's just so many better action games you could be playing, and even if you are a Gundam fan, there's probably other games that'll suit you better, whether it's the turn-based stuff, or whether it's going to like the Gundam Battle Operation 2 or something. That's also free to play, more of a gacha kind of game. But it deals with the full-size suits, and that is certainly more of a hardcore kind of thing. But you know what? I think this is decently fun, and I'll probably keep on chipping away at it every once in a while. But it's just nothing really that special.
That was SD Gundam Battle Alliance. What else have you been playing?
I've been playing a game. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this, but now that it's been out for a while, I thought I would mention it. Full disclosure, I work in an advertising agency, and we've been working with Atari on this. I don't make any money if you buy the game or not, so I don't care. But I will tell you that I have been playing a decent amount of Yars Recharged, which is one of the new games in their Recharge series, which is them taking classic games like Asteroids or Gravatar or Breakout and giving them to smaller developers to kind of put a fresh coat of paint on and see if they can find something innovative, which I think is a cool idea. Better, certainly better than trying to put their shit into movies that nobody.
What are you talking about?
Or there's lots of dumb shit that Atari does, but I think this Recharge series has been relatively cool, and I think Yards Recharge is really neat. Again, I guess I'm kind of on the take here, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think it's a kind of neat twin stick shooter. I never played the original Yar's Revenge on the Atari 2600, but the main idea is that you are this fly thing called a Yar, and you're going in, you're chipping away at these shields, so then you can fire this big laser at the enemy.
Okay.
And this game does that, but it makes there's a lot more complexity to it in terms of level layouts. In the Atari 2600, it was kind of you, the shield, and the enemy, and you just kind of kept doing the same thing over and over again. This one has lots of different configurations for the number of enemies. The enemies also have these turrets that they can charge up, and different kinds of turrets do different kinds of attacks. But when you destroy those turrets, you gain some temporary power-ups that work like those turrets do. So if you destroy the one that shoots 3, now you have a spread shot for like 5 or so seconds. I think it's pretty satisfying. It's just a fun little arcade game. I think it's only $10.
What's it on? I know it's on PC. What else is it on?
Fucking everything.
Okay.
Basically everything that's not mobile.
Okay.
It's also on the Atari VCS if you have one of those. I don't know why you would, but it is there.
Okay.
So I think it's a fun little thing, and I've been having a good time with it. And
I've been wanting to check it out. I put it on my wish list. I will, before the year's end, especially try and get to it to give it a test, because I think it looks pretty slick.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that it's my game of the year or anything, but I think it is a fun time, and it plays really solidly, and I think there's some cool depth there. I haven't played any of the other games in the Recharge series, but playing this one makes me think, oh, maybe I should see what like Breakout Recharged is, and what did they change about Breakout to feel like those old games while also trying some new stuff.
Totally.
But I think it's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then right before the podcast, I decided to try my hand at a game that is coming out this September. It has a demo that I'm playing on Switch. I think it's out on some other stuff. We'll talk about it later in the show. But I played some of the Diofield Chronicle demo. This is the Square Enix RTS looking Fire Emblem / Final Fantasy kind of game.
You're saying all the things you like.
I'm saying a lot of things that I like, and I think I kind of like this game. I think it's kind of cool.
Hang on a second. It's
sure.
August 31st, 2022.
Yeah.
And Chase actually likes something he played.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It happens occasionally. I mean, I liked the other 2 games that I talked about tonight. Just not.
I think I downloaded the demo for this. I just haven't played it yet.
I mean, I think you should. Again, I'm really early. I've only played the first 2 missions, and the very first one is basically a tutorial, and the second one is a slightly less of a tutorial.
What are you playing it on?
I've been playing it on Switch. I'm sure the demo's out on other things as well.
Okay.
But it's RTS games on console are usually not fantastic, or they kind of have they're kind of a mixed bag in that sense. I know like the Halo. Oh, what was the Halo one called?
Halo Wars. Yeah.
Halo Wars. Yeah. Halo Wars. They kind of figured it out a little bit. I've played Warlocked on the Game Boy Color, which I love, but I would not say is a good game.
Is this like an isometric looking RTS?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's on Steam. There's a demo on there as well, Bobby.
Okay.
And it might play really well on PC, but I think they made a pretty functional console version of an RTS game. I think it's kind of neat. You can basically freeze time at any point, and you can pick your different units. You can move them individually. You can move them as groups. You can hold down the left trigger to, or not the left trigger. You hold down the on Switch. It's a Y button, but that will like make a growing circle wherever you put your cursor. So you can pick multiple units within that circle, and it keeps growing as you hold it. So you can kind of paint that way and get the right.
They did something similar with on the iPad for Divinity Original Sin 2. If you held down with 2 fingers on the touchscreen, it created this circle that went out, and when you release it, it just selected everything in there, which was super handy. I think it's a great way of like making use of that.
Just search your surroundings.
Yeah. It makes for a game that you're kind of constantly stopping. For being an RTS, there's very little real time going on. It feels because I'm just constantly stopping the action so I can pick more actions. But I like it. It still feels more active and more. There's more going on than in a turn-based game where I can just take my time and I can absolutely just stop and eat a slice of pizza or something before I get back to the game, which I prefer more for like handheld or mobile stuff. But in this instance, where I'm sitting down at a console, kind of nice to have something that engages you a little bit more directly, and this game kind of does that. It's got an ambush mechanic to it, where if you're attacking somebody from behind, you're going to get extra kind of critical attack damage. And so you actually start positioning your units in a way to say, okay, well, I want these 2 to come and engage the enemy at the beginning, and then I want this guy, and you can even put waypoints as you're choosing where you want somebody to go. You can say, oh, well, I want you to go here, but I want you to go above that, and then another one, and then another space, and then get behind, and then do the attack. So you can, you really have some decent control with it, and you can get around enemies and do pincer attacks that allow you to be always doing ambush damage while one person kind of tanks from the front. I think it's a cool system, and each of the characters also has special attacks that they can do that you can trigger, and they'll have different effects. So like there's one guy who's like on a horse with a lance. He has one where he can just like rush through a space, and he'll damage stuff as he rushes through. There's another girl who's like a sword and board character who can do a shield bash and stun enemies for a bit. I got an archer in the second level, the second mission, and I think the archer's fucking rules. He's just got a skill to begin with that's rain of arrows, and it's just a circle that you can place basically anywhere, and he just hits people in that area.
That would get an AoE attack.
Yeah.
But his other one is even better because it's that, except it's not a circle, it's a big line. So you can say, I just want like constant arrows going in this big line, and so you can do some pretty nasty things with that. Your main character is an assassin, and he's like a thiefy kind of character, and his ability is called Assassinate. And if you kill them with that skill, it automatically cools down, and you can just use it again. So it's got some nice mechanics to it. I think it's pretty neat mechanically, and
awesome.
It looks pretty good. It probably looks a lot better on PC than it would on Switch, but it looks pretty good. And I even think the voice acting's okay. It's not super fully voiced. You'll kind of get the Fire Emblem stuff when you're out of major cutscenes where somebody will just kind of say a quip when the actual text is below. But in the main cutscenes that I've had so far, it's been fully voiced in those. It has Japanese and English voice acting baked in, so you can choose whatever you want. I think the English is fine. It's okay. It's going for a European thing. It's going for some British stuff. Some guys are like really quiet and reserved to the point of like, are you like actually an actor, or are you just somebody who's just like a quiet person who they said, yeah, sure, you could sound fine. But other ones like give it a good go. I'm I'm kind of surprised at how much I'm enjoying just these first couple levels. Again, I'm so early in. I don't know what happens when you have more than a squad of 4. Maybe it gets to be ridiculous, or maybe you have your team split up too much where you kind of get lost. But so far with this really small group in these early levels, I think this game has a lot of potential to it, and I'm kind of excited about it.
I'm downloading
Nice,
the demo on my Steam Deck right now. We'll see how it
There you
runs
go.
on there.
I will definitely check out that demo. That sounds really cool. And I know that we're going to show that game off here in a little bit. So we'll be able to talk over that trailer here soon. Chase, you broke
And then,
down.
of course, of
go
course,
ahead.
I'm also playing Destiny 2. There's that new season. I didn't talk about that. I'm not going to talk about it here, just to say it's fine. I'm enjoying it so far. They brought
Nice.
back another Destiny 1 raid, and I thought it was pretty solid. I don't like
Cool.
the guns as much, but
Nice.
cool. It's cool. Destiny's back.
Destiny's back. Chase, you talked about SD Gundam Battle Alliance, Yars Recharged, and the is it Diofield, or how is that right? Diofield Chronicle demo. I've got a couple quick updates here before I talk about some new stuff. I completed with quotations Cult of the Lamb. I beat that game. I got credits on that game. There's still things that you can go back and do from like endless runs. You can continue to build out your cult. But that game has multiple endings, I found out, and I think well, not necessarily multiple endings. I guess there's two endings to it.
Good, bad, or just different?
I don't know. Like you have a choice at the end of that to make, and I chose one path that I felt better suited how I had been playing the game. So I liked my time with that game a whole hell of a lot. I think it's.
Do you have everyone take off their shoes and drink some Kool-Aid and over to the great beyond?
Yeah, no, kind
they put on their special tracksuits and their sneakers.
Cult of the Lamb continues to be really good, and I will just call out, like, I think that game has done way more than what people anticipated it to do. It's been a hit for them, but cool game.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of needed a hit recently. I know we really like Devolver Digital stuff generally, but I feel like there hasn't been like a really good Devolver Digital game for a bit.
I think there was only one game that really rubbed me the wrong way as of late, and that was Trek to Yomi.
Yeah, maybe it's just a bad taste that game, but I feel like there hasn't been as much.
I was going to say 12 minutes, then I remembered that's Annapurna.
Yeah, that was like Annapurna's big shit stain. So Cult of the Lamb, happy for them, happy for the devs. That's a really cool game. Also, I beat Roller Drome. And
wow, that was quick. How much time did it take you?
Well, it's interesting because if you just get the needed like objectives done,
you critical path it.
Yeah, it's not very long at all. But I would say a couple hours for sure. And I could go back. Like I ended up getting every objective on that first row because there's 4 rows of events. I went through and got all the objectives on that first row. Like I just want to see if I can do it, and I was getting pretty good at like comboing different tricks and the tactics, and like going back and playing with all the weapons. That 4th weapon is really fucking cool that they give you. It changes up like how you can do things from a distance. That's all I'll say. And I rather enjoyed my time with that game. I did near the end when I was trying to just maximize getting some of the objectives done. It was hard for me to get those while still fighting. And they've got a really tweakable kind of accessibility option where you can go in and like knock down how much the damage impacts you or how much damage you deal out. And I ended up lowering my damage intake a little bit just so I could focus more on running some of the objectives to get through it.
Nice option to have though. For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like there's even an invincible mode. So if you just wanted to go through and like work on getting everything and not worry about dying, like you could flip that on, no problem at all. That game's awesome. Roll 7 has put out 2 really, really well done games this year, in my opinion. Between that and Ollie Ollie World, like they've really captured an area for me that traditionally like skating has never been a huge thing. And like I've got 2 games this year that left a pretty big mark on me. So Roller Drome, very cool game. Check that out.
I need to check that out. I want to, and I feel like it's going to slip through the cracks, and I don't want it to. but I'm just looking at all the fucking games I gotta play, and I was like, I have something that's gotta give.
Yeah, I can tell you a game that you don't need to play. Would be
Okay.
Midnight Fight Express.
Oh,
And
okay. I thought you were gonna say SC Gundam Battle Alliance or Digimon Survive or
I mean, Digimon
basically any of the
Survive.
shit I'm playing.
You should absolutely not be playing Digimon Survive.
So,
I haven't played it in a bit, so that's something.
Bobby, I'm the sicko in this group that
We've
punishes
always said.
myself, with FromSoft games and stuff. Is this
No.
even a Johnny game, or is this just
Go and play Sifu if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'd say the difficulty is not the
Yeah.
problem exactly. I mean, it is that it's difficult, but I think it's difficult in a way that's unfun and unfair.
Because I tuned into the stream on Monday, and there was like a vibe that I could pick up on that you weren't having as much fun with this as you would normally be having with the game, maybe. And I was only like, I had the stream on while I was playing something else, so I was only catching bits and pieces of the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a lot, and not a necessarily good way.
It's weird. Like, it's super unfortunate timing for our stream on our Casual Monday stream that we did, because leading up to it, I was like having a somewhat decent time of like running through these beat 'em up style, but then like right when Chase and I fired it up, like I had gotten to a point where it kind of took a supernatural turn. Like there was literal rat boys that were just shitty to fight against. And
I don't think they were literal rat. They weren't like rats. They weren't rats and men. There were some that were like fucked up mutants, but were they actually rats?
They had like,
maybe it was too dark for me to see.
Yeah,
Rat boy.
So
I mean, I see people in masks in the art for this game on the Xbox app. So
yeah, I mean, like it's Escape from the City. It was this kind of neat isometric, low poly-esque beat 'em up where you could do grapples, you had finishers, parries, you could grab weapons. Like it had what I thought to be like a pretty interesting modern take on the classic beat 'em up genre, and it ended up just shifting away from what I wanted it to be, and it became more of like a time trial type run. Like it's not even a run based. It was just more of like I'm spoiled by what Neon White did when it came to like finishing under par and how they approached that, where that's just me going through a course where I'm not really at risk of a whole lot. And here, the speed at which they were trying to move the level did not match the speed at which you can move your character, at least at this level for me. And it started to like get to a point where I don't even think it's like a My Friend Pedro scenario where you have to be like doing all these great flourishes. You can certainly do that in this game, but it just became there's too many different mechanical things happening with you have one button that you can use to dodge, and at the same time you can also block or parry, and there's multiple enemies attacking you at the same time doing opposite types of attacks where you have to choose one or the other on how you're going to do it. And those things, like I'm fine with like a difficulty curve, and maybe it is just my skill set, but when I was approaching it, it felt like I was set up for failure based off of mechanics I had no control over. Like, which one of those attacks do I need to focus on avoiding or combating? So it's fine. I didn't lose a lot. It was on Game Pass. I'm happy I got to try it out. I know that this is a passion project and there's not a lot of folks involved in making it. So I don't want to, like, game development's hard and there's people out there who probably just absolutely eat this up. I'm just saying it's not for me. And it's 40 levels. It goes by pretty quick. If you are into it, I'm sure you can find ways to compete against yourself or unlock stuff. But I just found what you were working towards also from a skill tree not to be very interesting. And I also did not find a lot of enjoyment in unlocking very expensive cosmetic items that had no benefit to the game on like increased.
The economy in the game is very funny.
It's very funny.
Where Bobby like bought a beanie and it was $9,600.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
Of the in-game currency. It was like,
What the hell's going on in this world?
What kind of beanies are these? What the hell's
But
happening?
it could have been like, hey, you get an additional second in your parry window with this beanie on, or it could be
there's none of that. It's all which is kind of good in a way. Like it's good that it just lets you outfit your character the way that you want, and you don't feel like you have to wear specific equipment to get the benefits of it. I'm okay with that. I mentioned it on the stream a couple times, and I just want to mention it one more time here. Is that it feels too fast for its own good. Like it's fast to the detriment of its mechanics. Like Bobby was listing the mechanics, and I don't think any of those sound bad on their own. It's just that when the game is at the clip that it plays at, it's just, especially watching it for me, maybe it feels differently when you're playing it, but it is so frantic of just punching back and forth and going and going and going and going, and you just it just takes away from the impact that these moves have. Like I think it has good sound design where you hear the punches, but I'm not feeling them because they're all just scattered, and by the time this one feels like it should be landing, I'm already like 3 punches in to the next guy. And that stuff just kind of adds to, I barely even see what's going on, which makes it difficult in an unfun way to me. It's not that these are puzzles, it's that I just need the slot machine to go in the right way, that I hit the buttons at the right time, and the timing windows are so small that it's just up to chance whether you got it or not.
I don't know if I'll play it. They've put a different difficulty in it now, and I'm very curious. As what I saw in the quick look looked really cool, but I would say, like I mentioned it earlier to Johnny, like I think Sifu would, from a tone, a pace.
I need to go back and finish that.
For somebody who enjoys FromSoft games, Sifu is probably closer to the kind of thing you're looking for. I mean, Midnight Fight Express was something I was looking forward to, though. I like
you might like it. You might like it.
I might if it was like 15% slower, and it's just not, and I'm just not going to do it.
Well, that's Midnight Fight Express. It did not stick with me as I thought it would, but a game that I did not have my eyes on nearly as much that has seemingly stuck with me in a big way is a game called Tinykin. And this game came out on August 30th. We have a quick look that went up to coincide with it.
I watched that quick look this morning.
Thanks.
Good job.
This is that Pikmin-esque Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, tiny little hero that is controlling a bunch of alien species called Tinykin that you can use to do things like lift objects, blow things up, form ladders. It's got an incredibly well done, detailed world that you can go into. And I think the sound design, I think the soundtrack to it, I think the writing and the mechanics, they've delivered a package here that is just absolutely fantastic. This is out on Game Pass.
It just oozes charm, man.
It's got a ton of charm. It's got almost like a Paper Mario like kind of perspective on like the character movement.
Splat, in this 2D large world.
So the premise for the game is you are a scientist on an alien planet where you are a human on this alien planet, and you get a radio signal from a planet where you believe like humans came from. You are sent to that planet. When you get there, for some reason you are microscopic on the planet, and you are trying to get back off of it. So there is a series of like rooms in this house or this building that you're in that has kind of that Toy Story, like toy perspective, looking up into the environment vibe to it. And there's a bunch of different species of bugs that have formed colonies and civilizations, and there's different cities that you're going to in each room, and you're going to be interacting with different bugs. And from what I can tell so far, like bonus objective wise, they're like similar ones throughout the level. Like you need to find a ring pop in one level you need to find the ring pop, in the other one and give it back to one of the bugs. But the verticality of these rooms and how you traverse through it and how you use the Tinykin to like solve puzzling, it's really more about exploratory
quite
learning.
good.
It's
Yeah.
very, very good. I don't think this is going to be a very long game. So Chase, as you're looking at like a pile of things to get through, this might be appealing to start and hop into. I don't think it's very long at all.
I mean, I purchased it immediately after doing that quick look with you because I already knew that I was probably going to be into this game from just what I'd seen through trailers, through doing the August preview. But seeing it in action, hearing your enthusiasm for it, I was like, okay, well, this is just. It was still like a 10% off pre-order on Switch. And I was like, yep, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's get it done now. And I look forward to digging into that game, hopefully very, very soon.
Yeah, so there is a demo. I don't know if it's still active or not, but there was a demo that gives you, I believe, that
I think
first
the demo's
world.
always active. Even with the game's
out. Check that demo out. I think that you will be hard pressed not to find something to enjoy in it. It is a stellar video game. A great win for Game Pass. That's where I'm playing it. I've played it on my PC, and then I've played it via the cloud on my Steam Deck and had a great experience that way too. So both works pretty well for me.
Yeah, I played a bit on my Xbox earlier and on my PC today during my break, and I'm only like an hour in, so I've cleared the first room.
Yeah,
and I think I love how all the it's like they have their own individual cultures. At least it seems like even though
bugs.
you're in this house, but it's like you said, you're visiting different cities, and so they keep talking about like, oh, you need this sacred whatever, and it's a CD, and you got to find a way to put the CD into the CD player, or find a missing button, or like there are some letters that were lying around the level, and eventually you find a post box, and you put the letters in the post box, and it gives you a reward. And since it is so vertical, it does the thing where as you're going, you'll get a rope or a wire that you can slide down, and it gives you. Do they call it a soap board?
Yeah.
So you get a bar of soap that you can skate around on, basically.
Yep.
And you get these bugs that shoot a wire from one point to another, and it goes up, and you basically get on your soap and you grind that wire.
It's very good.
I asked this on the quick look. Maybe now that you've played a little bit more, is there any explanation behind why you have these soap-based abilities of either the grinding or when you also the bubble, like it's kind of like a float jump? Yeah. Okay. That's weird.
Yeah, none that I've seen, unless I've missed a line of dialogue or something. But I'm only about an hour into it.
Johnny, do you think that Jude would enjoy this game?
Maybe. I don't think he saw me playing it, but I was gonna show it off to him.
Yeah, I think it's
he could be into
well
it.
done.
I mean, just the art style, it really does look like a cartoon. It looks like it came straight out of like Gravity Falls or something, at least for the character designs. And that, I think there's just an interesting contrast between those designs. That's kind of why it feels like Paper Mario. Those flat 2D cartoonish looking characters in these 3D, still simplistic. It's not like it's photorealistic or anything, but these more realistic looking environments.
Yeah,
I think that's just kind of
it's a nice contrast.
Yeah.
I was looking into Splash Team, who makes the game, and they only have one other game called Splasher. It came out in 2017. There's a demo for it on Steam as well, but it's produced by Tiny Build, which I don't know. They did that Kill It With Fire game. I know that we talked about that on here. They did Hello Neighbor, which we definitely talked about on here. They've got quite Cluster Truck was another one. There's a lot that they've put out.
Oh, Cluster Truck's cool.
So yeah, Tiny Build's done quite a bit of stuff. They did Potion Craft, which I like a whole lot. Now Tinykin, but it's really cool, man. Like I'm very surprised by it. I'm having a great time with that. And I always enjoy like when something creeps up and just leaves an impression that like it wasn't on your radar at all, like that.
Yeah, like this one feels like maybe like this year's Toem kind of thing.
Yeah,
Of like,
100%.
ooh, is like that's a cool little thing, and you play it and you have a good time, and it just leaves a little nice impression on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny, I know that you've been playing a little bit of Tinykin. Anything else you want to add on that before we get into the meat of your content?
No, I just was not expecting to, like this was not on my radar really at all. And I had a very pleasant break and some time after work today playing it, and I will definitely be checking out more of it.
If anything, it's a great like unwinding before bed type thing.
Yeah,
so
it's super relaxed.
Yeah.
I had a great time just poking my nose in every nook and cranny of that room, finding gold, other Tinykin, other secrets, unlocking shortcuts. It's very very much up my alley.
Yeah.
That is the only new thing I've been playing. I've made some headway in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've now surpassed my hour count in the Xenoblade Chronicles remaster. I'm at about 17 hours now, which puts me, almost 10% of the way through the game, if hour counts to be believed, and it just keeps getting better. That game is really good, Bobby. I think you should get back to it.
It's on my list of things. I got some travel coming up, and I'm going to try and force myself to not play some of these other games we'll talk about, and like I think that would be a fun thing to play on the go.
I'm still digging the story. It has a lot of heart. I'm enjoying the relationship that's building between these two groups of three people that come together to form a team that were at odds with each other at the very beginning, and it's good.
I would have played more of it, but I've been preoccupied doing other stuff most nights this week.
Ranching some slimes?
No, you're culprit for.
Oh, you mean getting some dubs?
Getting some dubs, yeah.
We've been playing a lot of Fortnite this week, Bobby.
I know.
What the fuck happened to you two?
It's all Jude's fault.
It is Jude's fault.
I was trying to be a good father and connect with my son, and like, hey, you know what? You play games with me that I like all the time. I'll play some Fortnite with you. And then it slowly evolved into me realizing this is actually pretty fun when I'm playing it.
I mean, it has to be, right? Like, if it wasn't fun to play, it wouldn't be the most popular video game today.
I
get it. I get it now.
It's fun. It is fun, and
it's not. Yeah, it's not the most mechanically it's not Destiny. It doesn't feel as good as Destiny.
There is one of the reasons I haven't gotten into Fortnite, among many other reasons why I've also not gotten into Fortnite, is the combo of the shooting and the building. Like, honestly, that felt complex in a way that I wasn't sure I wanted. So to hear you say it's simple is kind of going against what I
simple in that you jump in, jump out, find a match, and you don't have to, I've been very successful not doing much building at all. But I've reached a point where I'm comfortable enough with how the other systems are at play that I have started building, and I've gotten some victories out of scenarios where I built myself up like a platform so I could see the battlefield better. And
you just make a stairway to nowhere, and then you go up it, and you've got some cover, and you've got some sniper space.
But
yeah, absolutely.
So something I learned, which I did not realize, Jude told me, is like, Dad, you realize if they destroy one piece of that, the whole thing collapses, and then you fall and you die. I'm like, okay, all right, so there's some risk reward here. Like, I'm not, I don't know, Chase. I don't know what's happened to me.
Dude.
But I like Fortnite now, and I'm having fun with it.
I can see Chase joining us.
I mean, my problem with Fortnite has never been that I don't think it's a solid game. I don't think it's not that I don't think it's made well.
It's more epic, right?
I wouldn't even say that. It's just that's not a genre of game. It's not a genre of game I like. I haven't played any battle royale games aside from Tetris 99 and I guess Mario 34 35. How many Marios were there? I don't remember.
35.
This just isn't my thing. I enjoy shooters, but I don't enjoy these. I don't enjoy the idea of these kinds of shooters, and it's like I haven't played Apex either. Apex, I hear, is very good.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think
PUBG was out there for a while.
Not to use like that terminology, but I think the thing that turned me off is like, look, Apex is sound. It's a great shooter. They've done a great job there, but there is a competitive, quote unquote, sweatiness to that game that like just turns me off from it. And there's people who definitely will approach Fortnite with that same vigor, but I get the same type of mind tickle that I've gotten on our Friday night streams where we've all played Mario Kart when I've been playing Fortnite. And it's
just chilling with friends.
Yeah, like
having a good time.
I could play more.
I think you guys are having fun because you're winning. You guys are kicking ass last Friday.
Dude,
I think you played 4 games and you won 3 of them?
3. We won our first win 3 in a row.
We've
last night was not as successful, and we ended on a victory. But
yeah, we lost more last night. I was also out of it last night, and I will say that I feel most nights that we play, we're getting a couple W's each night, and I'm not here to say that we're the best, but like we're definitely like
competent.
Not knowing.
Jude and I get a lot of it every time we play with Jude too. We've won.
Yeah, that's been really cool.
Do you think it's just that it's such a big pool of people playing that you guys are relatively experienced at shooter games and thus are better than already 50 to 75% of the people who play Fortnite?
Well, I think it's also about, at least like 80? Johnny had more, but for me, it's not necessarily like I'm the most skilled shooter by any stretch, or I even know like, because I don't build, but what I do know is like how to approach firefights and like in these types of games, like how to get to a spot like, okay, hey, the circle's closing. I know people are going to be coming in. So like, how do we position ourselves in a spot where like we have a bit more of advantage as people are forced towards us?
Sure, but also with such a large player base, I have to imagine there is a pretty large subsection of people who probably haven't played twin stick shooters enough to really understand that left stick is move, right stick is turn. I think there's probably just a lot of people in there because these games also aren't match made in any way, are they? Is there any sort of matchmaking in Fortnite?
I don't think so. Maybe regional, but that's about it.
So it's just kind of throwing everybody into a pool and going, see what happens.
If your curiosity got the best of you and you ever wanted to hop in with us, crossplay works on your Switch.
It's true.
Or your PlayStation.
Isn't there something about like if I make a Sony account, I'm locked to the Sony account for some stuff? So. There was something about like if you started on one system, you kind of got locked to it in a way.
I'm not sure.
I can't. It was where Sony was like, "We don't want to fucking play with you guys. We're not gonna."
Well, Sony didn't have crossplay for a while.
Yeah, I know.
I think if you set up your account on a different thing, you can bring it to PlayStation. But if you set it up on PlayStation, you get
that sounds
a little bit.
Yes, I don't know if it's still that way, but it was.
Yeah, that was at least the case like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, but it's on every console I own, or a piece of hardware that is capable of running it. I've set xCloud up on Jude's iPad just so he can stream Fortnite, and when his buddy comes over, Jude plays on the PS5 and his friend plays on the Switch.
Nice.
So
anything else we need to talk about before we get into this month? Because holy shit, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, we need to get through this list.
All right. We'll start, as we start every month, by talking about the previous month. And let's get in here and what we thought our games of August would be and see how right or wrong we were. My picks for the month of August were Rollerdrome, a game I haven't played, but I know is good from hearing from you guys. Tinykin, which is a game I haven't played, but I know is good from hearing from you guys. Although, I will say, I'm the only guy who put Tinykin on my picks for the month, so I feel pretty good that I knew that game was going to be good. It was on my radar. SD Gundam Battle Alliance, which I talked about earlier. And then I also had maybe Midnight Fight Express or Soul Hackers 2 or that Crayon Shin-Chan game we talked about Midnight Fight Express. I never ended up picking up Soul Hackers 2. I read some reviews that made it sound like maybe it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And then that Shin-Chan game I talked about a couple weeks ago. And I think that's a really fun... Oh yeah, fun is maybe the wrong word. It's a really cozy game that I would like to spend more time in.
Sure.
But again, there's so much stuff going on. Bobby, you had Cult of the Lamb, which you talked about earlier. You seem to quite enjoy. You had Hard West 2, which is something we've done a quick look on and looks fucking rad.
It's awesome.
You've had a good time with that. You also had Roller Drome, and then you had Call of the Wild: The Angler, which I have not heard you talk about.
It just came out today.
Coming out at the end of the month? Okay, yeah,
and it's got terrible reviews.
Oh no.
Okay.
Like just a quick TLDR on it. It sounds like that was being released as a full package, or at least that way. It's a $30 or $40 game right now, and apparently it's like early access, but it's mostly negative right now on Steam.
32%.
Yeah, so I am not picking that up, and
Bobby, I do want you to know you can fish in Fortnite.
I know.
You could at one point, so you could
you
do
can.
that instead.
Yeah, for sure.
Fortnite's got you covered. Johnny, you also had Cult of the Lamb, Roller Drome, but you also had 2 Point Campus, which I don't feel like you talked about. Did you not play that?
No.
Okay.
Downloaded, but have not played it yet.
Okay. I mean, it's from the same people who made 2 Point Hospital. That was a very popular game that apparently played quite well, so I can only imagine this is...
Yeah, definitely.
Let's move on to the free stuff. PlayStation Plus, we're just going to do the essential. I'm not doing the extra or the premium. That bullshit. Too much to talk about with that. But the essential, I think, is a pretty fucking good month for Sony this month. For PS5 games, you can get Toem, which we just mentioned earlier. Toem rules. You should play Toem.
Great.
It was one of the best games that came out last year.
Very good.
I'm not sure PlayStation would be my preferred place to play a small game like that, but if you got a PlayStation and you want to play Toem, you should do that. And then as far as PS4 games go, Need for Speed Heat, which I don't remember being well loved, but it's a racing game. I like its style. I like that kind of Miami look to it. But I think it had like not loot boxes exactly, but it had like kind of like in-game currency loot box kind of things where you had to keep rolling for stuff for like upgrades for your car, which I heard people did not like that much. And then also Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which at this point's a relatively old fighting game. It did show up at EVO this year, I believe, and it just looks really good. It's based on a gacha game that also has an anime out there. I think it just has a really incredible art style to it. And the fighting game I've always kind of been interested in, but it's not interested enough to try it. But if it's free, I'll be picking this one up. Xbox Games with Gold. We got a few things here. On the Xbox series of consoles, we have Gods Will Fall. That's coming out or available between September 1st and September 30th. That is kind of like an isometric action-y fantasy action adventure kind of game.
Okay.
It looks okay. Double Kick Heroes is available between 9/16 and October 15th. So half a month now, half a month next month. That is like a mix between a rhythm game and a bullet hell shooter.
Weird.
You're in like a gun Cadillac thing, and you're shooting at stuff that's coming behind you. It's got kind of a nice pixel art look to it. I think it looks neat. On Xbox 360, you can get Portal 2. You guys ever heard of Portal 2?
No.
What
is that?
It's a game. That is a video game.
It's a game. It's a game you can play in co-op and have a real fun time, as Bobby and I learned. That will be available September 16th to September 30th. And then for a backwards compatible original Xbox game, Thrillville is available from September 1st to September 15th. That is another one of those kind of roller coaster tycoon, build your own amusement park kind of games. Bobby, I'm going to throw it to you for Game Pass, and it looks like there's a decent amount of stuff. You want to run through that relatively quickly?
We've got coming out September 1st, Grid Legends, moving on to Disney Dreamlight Valley. Train Sim World 3, You Suck at Parking, Outer Wilds, which I believe this is a current gen enhanced version of the game.
Okay.
Hard Space Shipbreaker, which has been out on PC Game Pass, is making its console debut, and you'll have that as available as well. We have Beacon Pines, Slime Rancher 2, which is launching in early access, or as I think they call game preview for Xbox. And Grounded is leaving game preview for 1.0. And then a game that I did check a demo out for called Moonscars coming out. Looking pretty cool.
Nice.
I did not see anything that's leaving. I'm sure there will be things, but I did not get an update on what that is. Shall we take a look at the other games, though?
Let's get into September. We'll start, as we usually start, with the 1st. And on the 1st of September, we get Anno Mutationem. I think that's how you pronounce that. At least for the Switch. I think it's been out maybe on... it came out in March on PC and PlayStation. This is that 2D, 3D kind of action-adventure game. It's very similar to Tinykin. It's kind of the 2D flat characters, but in a 3D-esque world.
I've almost picked this up a few times.
It has a demo out on Switch right now, and I ended up picking that up. I want to try that out. I think this game could be really cool. I saw some good reviews of it. I think it might be really rad. I just need to try it myself.
It's been on sale a couple times on Steam, and I've gotten it's on my wish list, and I've gotten notifications for it. I've gotten super close a few times, but I've just never committed, and I think it is probably a pretty cool game.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Here's the big problem, guys. There's another game coming out on the 1st that might take up our time instead, and that game is called Ooblets.
Hell yeah!
So Ooblets, that has been in early access or on Xbox, I guess, game preview for a while now, like a couple of years. It's been out in early access since a year and a half probably.
Yeah.
It's been out since 2022. So it's coming out to PC, Switch, and Xbox One, which will work on your Xbox Series consoles as well. For PC, though, it is exclusive to the Epic Game Store, so just know that going in. If you're searching for it on Steam, probably not going to find it. Bobby, you've been playing more Ooblets than any of us. You want to tell us anything more about Ooblets before it comes out?
I think Ooblets will take you out of the darkest spot you find yourself in. I think fans of Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Pokemon, all those games, this is a game that is just pure joy and delight. I had to pry myself off of the early access. I played so much of that first little segment, and I cannot wait to go back to it. And I'm just really excited for my wife, who has not been playing anything since New Horizons, and she's got this preloaded on her Switch. And I just can't wait for her to check it out, because I think that she's going to fall in love with it. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah,
so wholesome.
I'm pretty into it as well. Like it is a Pokemon style game, and then it's a monster fighting game. Except it's not fighting; it's a monster dancing game. You're doing dance battles, and I think that's silly but kind of fun.
Oh yeah,
yeah. This is definitely one I'm going to be playing. Pretty jazzed about it. Moving on to the 2nd, and Bobby, we got a game here for you. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, on a previous edition of Ask Me Anything, or Ask Me Anime, Bobby, on one of our Casual Monday streams, you told us all about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Do you remember anything about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yeah, these are like spirits that you are bringing out into from ancient civilizations. You can hearken them into do it. It has a lot of high style and fashion undertones to it. It looks really fucking weird, I think. But it's one of those animes that people really like, and I see people talk a lot about. People are fans of it. I don't know why.
Well, Bobby, congratulations. That is spot on. I think it's the first time you've been spot on an AMA, Bobby. But well done. That is JoJo in a nutshell. Yeah, it's like Personas, except the Personas fight with their fists, and probably some other magical shit.
Yeah.
I think people have been pretty excited about this fighting game. We'll see how it actually comes together. But it looks like JoJo's, and a lot of people like that JoJo's.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to also on the second, Last of Us Part 1 is coming to PS5.
Yep.
Yep.
I will say the reviews came out today, and not that it's a super old game by any stretch, but apparently what they've been able to do.
Less than 10 years.
Hey, how many Switch ports are you enjoying?
Those are ports. It's different.
Or that have been remastered. There's been games that have been that are not nearly as old as this. And I will say they've done some technical stuff from what the reviews are saying. I know Patrick Kleptic was, friend of yours, guy that you enjoy quite a bit, had a lot of nice things to say about it.
You're a friend of the show.
And people seem to think that they've done a great job on enhancing this to feel a bit more modern than it already did.
It's not that I think this game is bad. It's that I think their time could have been better spent on literally anything else.
Well, I have it downloaded on my PlayStation. I'll be checking it out this weekend.
I thought we agreed before we weren't going to play this, but okay.
I didn't. I went in on it.
I didn't agree with anything.
I went in on it as a gift for my friend, who I happen to share libraries with.
Okay.
I was not going to purchase this for myself. But I'm curious. This is one of my favorite games ever. And after hearing how positive the buzz is about the quality of the remake, I'm curious. I probably won't play it all the way through because I've seen that story 3-4 times now. But I would like to play enough of it to get a feel for what they've done.
All right.
That's why I never played the DLC. So that's my priority. I'm gonna try and go through and play the Left Behind DLC.
Right. Yep. I also never played that DLC. Also on the second is Lunistis coming to PC and Switch. I think this game has a kind of neat look to it. It's a low poly 3D running kind of game that has some Sonic vibes to it. It actually reminds me a lot of like the bonus stages of some Sonic games.
Yes.
But I kind of dig this look. I don't know if it's something I'll end up picking up, but really? Not a you? Not a Bobby thing?
We've talked about it, man. Like I know there's no point in like yelling at these clouds, but I just don't think I'm here for the 64 PS1 era resurgence of graphics. And
I mean, I'm with you. I feel like this is a little bit different. Like this is,
I don't know.
This is like, I would say this is more like Sega Saturn.
The problem with these is it's the way I look at it. It looks like there's like a filter applied to it. Is all it is. Like it looks like, but and I know for like we took a look at a quick look for X Zodiac, and their 100% is just a button you flip in the settings that makes it high resolution versus the 4:3 kind of old school. So like I know that that's what they're doing here to a degree, but it's just not like I grew up with it. I was happy when I had it. Looking back on it, it's one of the more poorly aged styles of games, in my opinion.
I mean, I get that. Like this was an era where games often didn't feel very good. Like a lot of games struggled to make that transition to 3D, especially when 2D allows you to be so precise and feel so good that when you have 3D games, it took a bit for them to feel good, and even now sometimes they don't feel very good. But now at least they look a lot sharper and certainly more high res. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I'm not here for like that PS1 style, but I also think something about this looks kind of good. Like it's polygons, but it's like pixely, fuzzy polygons, and I don't know. I kind of dig it. Let's move on to the 6th, and we're getting Railbound for PC, iOS, and Android. This is a super cool train puzzle-y kind of game. It's from the makers of Golf Peaks, which is a fantastic iOS game that I have played a lot of. Bobby, you and I did. It was a quick look, but it was for like this game's on like the Steam Next Fest, right?
Yeah. We did a quick look on there. I was able to get in on the iOS beta testing, and so I've been working on a few builds, like just playing through like the new levels they put on there, and I think it plays really well on mobile, to the surprise of nobody, considering Golf Peaks and all that. But it is available to pre-purchase, and I think it's $4 on iOS.
It's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
And if it's anything like Golf Peaks would get like new level packs every few weeks. It felt maybe it was like every couple months, but it still felt like there was always more new Golf Peaks content coming in. So I'm pretty jazzed about this as a guy who really liked Golf Peaks. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Looking good. Again, we have a bit of a problem though, Bobby, because there's another game coming out on the 6th that I feel like might be taking attention, and that is Temtem is finally coming out of early access. This has also, like Ooblets, been in early access since 2020. It's coming to PC, Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X. The thing I was wondering about is it's on all these platforms, and the developer said at one point that they have done the work to implement crossplay across all platforms. Mm-hmm. But they had not gotten, and this was in like June, May, something like that. They said they still had not gotten the okays from the platform holders, Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. Yeah,
I love you, man.
I'm just saying, this is an important thing for everyone. I know that you and I are probably going to end up playing this on our Steam Decks or Steam in general on PC, and that's fine. And apparently PC to Xbox, I think, is also perfectly fine. The problem
PC
again,
and PlayStation is too.
Oh, is it PC and PlayStation too? Okay. Yeah. I think it might just be Microsoft and Nintendo then that they still have not gotten the okays from.
It is deck verified also.
Okay. So these are all good things. I still just like playing games on a Switch. I guess I'm a weirdo, but I still like that system. I like that form factor. I like my Steam Deck too, but it's a different thing.
It has better joysticks.
Yep.
The Switch? Yeah, I absolutely agree.
What?
Let's talk about Temtem then.
You can't be serious.
You can't be serious.
Also, I almost exclusively play with the Switch Pro controller, so I'm...
Okay, all right. I'll allow it. I thought you meant the Joy-Con joysticks.
I think the Joy-Cons are fine.
Temtem.
Talk about Temtem, Bobby. You've played more Temtem than anyone.
Yeah, this is the reason why I hate my Switch. This is the game that literally made me want to build a PC, which is a weird thing to say, but
it's on Switch.
It just got there. I've been playing this game for years, Chase, because that's what happens when you actually have a PC. You can do that. I have thoroughly enjoyed its take on what you would appreciate growing up playing Pokemon, but bringing it into a more modern setting. This is an MMO to a degree. There's like people that are in your instance with you. There's not a lot of interactivity between them, but you will be exploring a world chock full of other tamers. And there are some really interesting styles of Tims that you can check out. It's a very big game. Like I remember in the roadmap for this, as they've been getting to 1.0, they've been unlocking new sections of the map, and they are just robust. So buckle up. This is a big one. They've got competitive stuff in there. There's the daycare. You can do some really cool breeding stuff if you need to. And they've got a lot of fun things, including start to finish co-op, where you can play with a friend and go through the game and do all the PvE stuff and check it out. It's also duos, so like all your battles are going to be 2v2, and
I think that's like a bigger selling point. One of the biggest selling points for a game like this is that if you like the double battles in Pokemon, and a lot of people do. In fact, the competitive Pokemon has even switched to double battles for those. They still don't show up that often in the Pokemon games themselves when you're playing through single player. And Temtem said, "What if they did?" So they made a game that is much richer in strategy and definitely allows for a lot more move sets when it comes to battle. And I think that's really cool. That's my most compelling reason to play Temtem over the co-op over anything else. But those are also very nice.
We might have a series. We'll see how that goes. But we've been talking about maybe playing this on Casual Mondays. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, maybe Bobby will buy a Switch version.
Hell no.
Also on the 6th is the Tomorrow Children Phoenix Edition coming to PS4. This is just such a weird one to me. This game originally launched 6 years ago to the day, September 6th of what was 6 years ago, the 2016.
Yep.
And it was a really esoteric kind of weird kind of game where you were working with other people to do some Soviet style communism building.
What the fuck is this?
It's just a weird game, but Sony at least paid for some of it, and I believe Sony had the rights to it. So it was only a year later that Sony discontinued the game, shut the servers down, and then it just kind of was. Everyone thought it was dead. It was free to play. And I guess the monetization wasn't working like they expected it to, or wasn't making the money that they expected it to, so they just shut it down. Anyway, Q Games, the original developer, has since acquired the rights from Sony and has rebuilt it, apparently from the ground up, and are bringing it back. It's no longer free to play, but it has also ripped out most, if not all, of the microtransactions. I couldn't find exactly how it's ripping that out or what it's replacing it with. But this is just a game that you can buy and play, and they own the servers now, so they can do whatever they want with them. I think that's really cool. I don't think it's a game for me. I remember watching Vinny Caravella play this and and he thought it was interesting, and I thought, I don't want any part of that. It's got a look, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real creepy vibe, but yeah, I don't know. Bobby, I feel like if anybody here would play this, it'd be you.
I was interested in checking it out until everything else that came out this month, and it was on my radar. They talked about it on Nextlander a couple months ago about it coming and doing a thing, and like they all talked about like how impactful the art style was, but like it was kind of convoluted, and I was like, hey, there's crafting and shit. I like that, but I just don't have the bandwidth this month to take that on.
Yeah. Let's move on to the 9th of September, and we're getting NBA 2K23 coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So here's the deal with these sports games. I try to look up what's different from this year to the last year, because that's all we really care about, right? Is to know what's different about this game that we haven't already played. Yes. I started to watch like a 30-minute YouTube video where somebody like an influencer content creator person, not the actual game people themselves, that would be too easy, start to explain all the 40 differences you can see in NBA 2K23. And I lasted about 4 minutes into that video before I went, nah, it's basketball. It's fine. So it's basketball. It's fine. I played an NBA 2K game. They're good. They're really good basketball games. That's it. Basketball. Let's move on. Also on the 9th is Splatoon 3 coming to Nintendo Switch. I didn't watch that Switch Direct.
I watched a 40-minute video talking about the differences between Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3.
Oh, sweet.
From another influencer.
Yeah? Was that influencer Nintendo?
It was Johnny.
Splat Man. I didn't watch this Direct. I don't know.
Who's the Splat Man?
I did. Okay. So they had the Splatfest this past weekend. Yeah. And I downloaded it. I turned it on. I made my character. I made my little buddy, the little fish man that you see in the trailer here.
Sure.
I got into the hub. There were no sessions happening. I was like, okay, cool.
That doesn't seem like a good sign.
I wasn't able to play Saturday. It ended on Sunday. And I first, like, 9 a.m. Sunday, I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get in. Let's try this. Let's see. You know, I love Splatoon 2. Hey, thanks for playing. It's over.
Nice.
So I didn't get to play the game at all during the weekend. Why not just have the servers open?
Thanks for that biting commentary, Johnny.
It's I fuck Nintendo. Like, hey, here's a 90-minute window.
Wow, are you telling me that Nintendo doesn't know how the internet works?
Like,
wow.
I get that you're wanting to stress your servers and whatnot, but it's just really frustrating because I really wanted to check it out, and they have these idiotic time windows that they only let you play during instead of just having it the whole weekend like a lot of other multiplayer games do. So that was disappointing, but I am really looking forward to this when it comes out.
I mean, I tried to play Splatoon 2 and I thought it was okay, but it wasn't my thing.
I played a lot of that multiplayer,
but it's a lot of people's things. And Splatoon 3 looks like it's going to continue that trend of being that thing for people.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if either you will be picking it up and we could play it on stream or not, but I will at least be playing this on my own.
Potentially. It just depends on where I'm at with some of this other stuff.
Yeah. On the 14th, You Suck at Parking comes to PC and Xbox. Bobby, this is another game that
They made a game about my wife.
God. This game's
parallel parking. She sucks at parallel parking.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess you can parallel park in this game.
Yeah, so this is going to hit Game Pass. I didn't realize it was coming out there, at least PC Game Pass on the 14th. And we played...
Bobby, is this footage from our quick look?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, like, who made this footage where somebody's just driving into a wall for 10 straight seconds?
It took a minute, but when we got into it, we had I had a blast with this.
It was so fun. This game's gonna be great.
Yeah, this is a sleeper. I don't think a lot of people know about it. It is fantastic. It's an awesome package of like putting together this attempting to park, and the levels just get absolutely bonkers, and it becomes somewhat of like a Japanese game show obstacle course into trying to park your car.
It looks very silly.
It's very silly in the best way possible. And if I think I saw something online, and Johnny, maybe you can keep me honest here. I think they're introducing multiplayer where you can have a bunch of cars at once trying to do this. And that sounds like a real good time for all of us. So this is on Game Pass. I don't know if it's releasing on everything.
Steam says it has online PvP.
Okay, there we go.
Very cool. All right.
You Suck at Parking. Check it out. It's got a really good style to it.
And I mean, it's on Game Pass, so
yeah.
Can't mess up.
To continue this theme of things that Bobby and I have quick looked from Steam Next Fest past, Despot's Game is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is the one that's kind of like a half totally accurate battle simulator and then half roguelike.
That's some Crash TV kind of vibes with this arena that you're in this.
Yeah. There's definitely some Smash TV feels.
Smash TV.
Yeah. Bobby, you're the one who played it. What did you think?
I think that it was fine. Like, it has essentially a bunch of different upgrades you can give to your characters, from chef to soldier to boxer, that goes into these combat scenarios. I think it's okay. I remember like being like, that was an interesting concept. I was not personally blown away by what was going on with it, but I did appreciate it. And I think it would be worth revisiting. I don't know if I will be picking it up in September, but people seem to enjoy it from what I've seen on reviews.
I feel like to really get it and probably start enjoying it, you need to play a few runs and do some trial and error about what these different weapons do and when or what they counteract. That's one of the things I remember is like we just ended up buying a bunch of items and throwing them on things, and who knows if they were actually effective against the things that we were fighting.
Yep.
So I wish that stuff was a little bit better tutorialized. Isn't
I just felt
exactly
we
what I'm
got
looking
our asses kicked. Also,
Well, that for sure. Yeah, I think there's something neat in here.
yeah.
It's got a cool look. Let's move on to the 20th. Hard Space Shipbreaker, a game that is already out, is getting PS5 and Xbox Series X editions. That game still rules.
Yes. Very, very good
Anything else
game.
to say?
Now, you might be able to see it live Friday night. So if you're listening to this in the morning, come back to twitch.tv/casual hour and you might be able to see me play this Friday night.
Sounds good. On the 21st, The Outbound Ghost comes to PC. This is, let me read these notes
I played a demo
definitely
this
did
too.
not write. Okay. Bobby, I believe you wrote these notes, so why don't you just tell me what I'm looking at?
Yeah, so you are a spirit trying to make their way to the afterlife. You're going to meet a handful of fun characters. This has got a straight up like Paper Mario vibe to it. It is a turn-based combat, and
Okay.
you are unlocking new skills to bring into battle, things like regret and other types of emotions that you're using to get back in touch with the afterlife. I think that this game has a ton of potential.
Yeah.
I think that both of you will find things to absolutely enjoy from this game, and it looks and has just a great mechanical feel. There's going to be some stuff in between the battles where you're interacting and kind of puzzling through. I mean, it really reminded me a lot of Paper Mario in that sense.
Absolutely. And Nintendo's making Paper Mario, but are they really making Paper Mario?
Right.
Like this is like taking original Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door and saying, what if they continued making those instead of the kind of weird kind of offshoots that they've done?
Yeah.
This looks great. I'm actually really digging this. There's another game that came out a while ago that was also like, hey, what if we made a real Paper Mario again? And that was called Bug Fables that I've always meant to play. It's permanently on my Switch, and I will not take it off until I play it. But I have not found the time to give it. But this also looks good, and it's from this year, so I might want to.
Yeah, I think this should be on your radar. The demo was really solid that I checked out from that Next Fest, and I can see myself picking this one up for sure based off of that time.
I'm writing it down. On the 22nd, the Diofield Chronicle comes to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is the one I talked about earlier that I played the demo of. Pretty neat. I think it's got a relatively cool look to it. One of the things I didn't mention, it also has straight up Final Fantasy style summons. I summoned Bahamut to come, and he fucked up a huge area, and it was a sweet summon cutscene. I don't know why they didn't just call this Final Fantasy. They should have just called it Final Fantasy and said fuck it. I think this game looks pretty damn cool, and I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna download the demo after we record here.
You should. I think you might enjoy it. That's coming out on the 22nd. Also on the 22nd, Potion Permit comes to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5.
I'm playing this right now.
Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Here's what I wrote for my notes. Zelda meets Potion Craft sounds like Big Bobby energy to me, and lo and behold, the energy is quite big for Bobby.
I'll talk about it more next week. There's a demo that's pretty robust. I've been playing this, and it's my shit for sure. It's got a lot of the things I like from these games. The only thing I will just like nitpick here, the animation when you're doing things out, like when you're collecting, because you've got a sword, a hammer, and a scythe to collect with. It's just a little tedious, and the animation is slightly off on the demo where it takes a lot longer. Like when I press a button, when the actual thing hits, there's a little bit of a disconnect there. And that could just be a frame rate thing for me. It could just be a build that they have. But overall, that thing's pretty fucking cool. And
this does, from just the trailer that we're looking at, it does look maybe weird to say, a little over animated.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Even just these idle animations, these kind of just bounces and the hair bounces, and it looks really nice. But also, I can totally see how that might get tedious or throw off the rhythm of the game.
You can pet the dog. You have a dog, and you can pet the dog.
Oh, well, that's always important.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alert the Twitter account. Also on the 22nd, Serial Cleaners with an S at the end is coming out to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a top-down stealth action game where you are cleaning up a murder scene, or cleaning up murder scenes in general. You're a cleaner for the mob in the 1990s. This is a sequel to 2017's Serial Cleaner without an S. That one takes place in the 1970s. So, they've
I think this has a
grown up 20 years.
Fucking look to it, man. I think this game has some. It's like part Mutant Year Zero, part. Oh my god, what was that big CRPG that everybody lost their mind about? With like the mental, like you're a cop.
Disco Elysium?
Disco Elysium.
Yeah, a little bit of that art style as well. I think.
So the game before, the 2017 one, I think that was more of like a pixel art style. So it is really interesting to see how they've developed from that and how it's evolved from that into something that is. I think you're pretty spot on with Disco Elysium. I think it definitely evokes some of those same vibes.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's a neat idea.
This was going to be on Game Pass, but it was not on anything I saw so far. So I might have misread that somewhere, but I thought this was a Game Pass game.
Okay. You know what is a Game Pass game? Also coming out the 22nd. That's Slime Rancher 2. Coming to PC and Xbox Series X.
Fucking hook it into my veins, please.
Bobby, you just experienced the Slime Rancher for the very first time recently. What do you think?
I'm having to force myself to not play a game from 2017 right now because I need to clear my plate to play other games from 2022. I fucking love Slime Rancher, man. That game is so much fun, and this just seems to build on the best way possible from that. It is an early access release, but it is on Game Pass day and date. This is on the Rainbow Island, and so it is following the same character from the first game, where you will be collecting different slimes and getting elements from them. You're going to be working on like building out your farm, your ranch, and just sustainability. Like I can't wait. And there was like giant slimes in the first game that you really couldn't keep. You could like suck them up and get them stuck on your gun and then shoot them out of the way. But it sounds like you might be able to bring some of those big slimes back to your ranch, which looks pretty cool. So I cannot wait. This is high up on my list of things to play this month.
I know Bobby's a big slime fan. So that's
big slime fan. Big slimy man. That's also a big slime fan.
Also on the 22nd, Session Skate Sim is coming to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
This is out of early access now?
I believe so. I believe that's the case. Session and Skater XL were the two that kind of felt like they were in the same.
Okay, yeah. Skater XL is the one that I bought. I have not.
Skater XL is also the one that I bought. Session, I think it's more. If I remember right, this one's more about like building lines, and like you can put anything, and maybe not anything, but you can like stop the world and then add things to the environment to then make it better for skating. Like you could just throw a dumpster down, so you can make this jump, and now you can grind on the dumpster to get to this other grind rail that's further away, so you can keep the combo up. Seems neat. I'm always interested in more skating games. I wish they were more fun than they usually end up being, which bums me out.
Yep.
But I like Skate and I like Tony Hawk, and I'm looking for something that kind of does either one, because Tony Hawk and Skate have not been good or around recently.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if this one was good. We'll see. On the 23rd, Shovel Knight Dig comes to PC, Switch, and Apple Arcade. This is a spin-off, not a sequel, to Shovel Knight. We've had many Shovel Knights in the past. This is not even being developed by Yacht Club. I think it's being co-developed by a different developer, and then Yacht Club's providing support. But this is this is a roguelike. Johnny,
Yeah.
you or Bobby, you're the one who posted this to me.
Yeah.
You want to tell me anything more about it?
Yeah, so they've got it is procedurally generated in these areas that you're going into. I think that it's going to be playing into the collecting treasure element. So there's a new knight. I can't remember the name that there's in the game. There's going to be some of the older villains. Of course, Shovel Knight will be there. I think at one point in time, this was being coined as a sequel to Shovel Knight, but now it is a spin-off and a different story, and it is procedurally generated, more run-based. I have Apple Arcade. I will probably check it out there. Depending upon how that goes, I'll either throw my backbone on my phone and spend some time playing it, or more than likely that's how I'll go about it. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I think it could be fun on the Steam Deck for sure, or Switch for that matter. But
yeah, there's so much more Shovel Knight that I've meant to play. I ended up buying the Treasure Trove eventually. I played Shovel Knight, the original one, on my 3DS, and loved Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's fantastic. And then never got around to playing any of the DLCs or extra things that came out with it. Johnny, I know you really liked that Shovel Knight puzzle game.
yeah,
Did that come out
really
this
cool.
year, or was that last
It
year?
was this
It
year.
was this year. Yeah.
Okay, man, lots of stuff. Was this the last Shovel Knight thing? Was there another Shovel Knight thing coming out? I thought at one point Yacht Club's like, "Hey, we're done making."
Yeah,
Shovel Knight now."
I didn't even know this existed until yesterday.
Okay.
So,
well, as a person who likes SteamWorld Dig, and I feel like this game has some similar vibes with what it's doing. Maybe
I'm interested in it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I love this pixel art. It looks real good. It looks like the controls real good. I'd be up for playing this.
Yeah.
On the 27th, Bobby mentioned it is coming out of early access, but it will still be on Game Pass. Is Grounded from our friends at Obsidian.
Very cool game.
Coming to PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. You guys both played some of this. Did you do this for a casual Friday sometime?
We did.
Yeah, I played a lot of this game.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I exhausted a point of early access, and I liked it so much. I was like, again, wait for them to do it. I was following the content updates on it, but this is like a really big crafting game also, and I went fucking bonkers on building out a massive like tree house fort for us, and it's cool, man. I think it has a lot of potential from a story standpoint. Like, I know that Obsidian said it will be an Obsidian story, and I saw a little bit of that coming out when you first get a taste of it, but I have not followed the story progression because it wasn't fully baked at the time. So I am excited to go full tilt back into this world.
Nice. Obsidian makes good games.
Yep.
On the 27th as well is Tunic, coming to PS4 and PS5. It's been on other consoles in the past. I feel like Bobby is going to put this somewhere in his Game of the Year list. So probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic video game. I'm happy more people get to play it.
I need to finish it, but it's quite good.
Yep. Love that game.
Speaking of ports coming to new consoles, on the 29th, Dorfromantic comes to Nintendo Switch. We've talked about Dorfromantic a bunch of times. Great. I love these tiles.
So good.
I need to play this game.
I wonder if Switch is the best place to play it. I mean, it's a turn-based game. It's not like there's any Twitch stuff. I'm sure it will be just fine. But there is something about using a mouse for games like this that feels pretty good. So,
what a beautiful
Switch
game.
is what you got. It should work just fine on that. On the 29th, Moonbreaker comes to PC. Bobby, what the hell is this?
This is from the devs that brought you Subnautica, and it is a Warhammer-esque tabletop board game that not only do you get to play a kick-ass strategy game, it's full-on fucking painting and customizing your tools. I mean, like, it is a robust customization.
You're airbrushing your miniatures, and preparing them for battle.
It looks awesome.
It's quite a departure from Subnautica.
Have you guys ever done? I mean, I don't think any of us here are Warhammer guys, but have you guys painted miniatures and stuff before?
I haven't. I'm curious about it on this game. I think that would be a really cool way to get lost and like checking it out, like making it your stamp on something. Like you all know how much I love character customization. Like this seems like something I could really lose myself in. I don't know when it goes live because this game comes out in a few weeks, but I did get invited to do the play test for it. And so I've got it downloaded on my computer right now. I'm just waiting for the servers to kick on so I can check it out. But I am very curious on what this is going to be like.
Sounds good. Also on the 29th is another Bobby game, and that's Railgrade coming to PC and Switch.
Damn, this looks
Bobby,
cool.
They made a factory game, except it's also trains.
I've always had a fascination with like people who can have those like garage size toy trains. Like call me Bobby from the Sopranos.
Sure.
I think that this has like big Satisfactory vibes, the way that it looks and it's designed, and I am absolutely going to play the shit out of this. I believe it is an Epic Store exclusive on PC, and that's probably where I'll pick this up. I know it's on the Switch, but I think having a mouse and keyboard for a game like this would be really cool.
Ideal.
And
yeah.
You're going to be insufferable about this game, I can just tell.
Oh, I'm going to get a fucking conductor's hat just to wear when I'm playing this.
I'm looking forward to the quick look.
Yep.
Also on the 29th, Valkyrie Elysium is coming out to PS4 and PS5. So this is that...
This has been out before, right?
No, this is the new one.
Okay.
The other one we'll talk about here in a second, that has been out before.
Okay.
Valkyrie Elysium is the new game in the Valkyrie Profile universe, which they haven't made a new Valkyrie Profile game for a bit, for what I know, from what I remember. It's an action game.
This looks like something that one of you would play.
I mean, it's got... When I look at this, I'm feeling some Nier Automata kind of vibes to it. Maybe it's female protagonist doing action combat stuff, but it's also trying to fit some RPG elements in there as well. I never played the original Valkyrie Profile, so I don't know too much about the story stuff. If this got really good reviews, I could totally see myself picking it up, but it's not something I'm immediately excited about. Maybe if I actually played Valkyrie Profile, then maybe I'd be excited about it. Speaking of, also on the 29th, Valkyrie Profile. Lenneth is coming to PS4 and PS5. This is the port of the original game, or it's a port of a port. So originally, Valkyrie Profile came out in the year 2000 on the PlayStation. It got ported to PSP in 2006. That is this Lenneth version. And that version got ported to mobile in 2018. When Square was porting all of their games to mobile and charging you a ton of money for them. And so I believe this is that PSP port, maybe with a slight coat of paint on it, slightly higher res for PS4 and PS5. This is the one I'm probably more interested in playing, just knowing that Valkyrie Profile is one of those beloved RPG series that I just don't know anything about. This one also is more action-y than it is turn-based, which is kind of interesting for the time. It's not coming to Switch though, and I know that shouldn't matter, but like that's where I'd play these kinds of games.
Let me just check here on our list here. It looks like it's going to be on PS4 and PS5 only, right?
Yeah, no Steam Deck for this one.
Weird.
I mean, you can download PSP games on a Steam Deck.
The other thing too is that, like, if you really wanted to be this sicko, like I've played Remote Play. There's an app you can get for PlayStation Remote Play on your Steam Deck too.
Yeah. But like with all the Mana games and other classic Chrono Cross came to Switch. Like lots of these kinds of games from this time period have been showing up on Switch.
Yeah.
And this would have been a good one for that. Maybe it'll show up eventually. Maybe Sony's got some skin in the game, and that's why it's only showing up on Sony systems. I don't know. Let's move on to the 30th, and we got Blade Assault coming to Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is a roguelike, but I just think it looks really fast and kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just think this looks kind of cool.
It's giving me like Flash animation vibe for some reason. Like
maybe a little Katana Zero in there
Yeah.
too. I know some people are using katanas here, which is probably why I'm thinking of it. But looks like you choose from a handful of different characters that play in some slightly different ways. Just a lot of effects going up on the screen, and I'm kind of digging it. I don't know if I'll end up picking this one up, but I like the look from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then finally, let's end on the 30th with a little bit of footy.
Hey.
Johnny, tell me everything you know about FIFA 23. What's new in FIFA 23, Johnny?
It comes out on the 30th.
Okay.
That is as much as I know. It'll have
what's Alex, whatever the fuck his last name, up to?
Sir Alex Ferguson has been retired since 2013.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm the is that the name of the guy from the career mode?
Oh God, I don't know. I never played that. I just do the online seasons.
I have to know.
This is the last FIFA though.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh right, the last time it's
EA Sports FC, I think, is what they're going to call it next year.
Footy Club.
Look, I usually get this game every year when it comes out. Usually not right at launch, but depending on what's out around that time.
Alex Hunter, that's his name. Alex Hunter. Who is Alex Hunter going to play for? I don't know. That's the only thing I know about FIFA.
Please.
And I'm sure it doesn't matter. I'm sure. Who knows? Maybe Alex Hunter is in this game. I will not find out. But I bet there will be an Ultimate Team.
Oh
you can purchase card packs and get all your favorite players that you've definitely heard of before.
There it is.
Anyway, that's the month of September. It is time for us to make some picks. I will note that one of our lists looks a lot longer than the other people's lists. I wonder why that might be. Johnny,
do you mean?
Let's start with you, Johnny.
Yeah.
What do you have for your picks this month?
I had Slime Rancher 2, Ooblets, and Moonbreaker, and then the more I saw and learned about Diofield Chronicle, the more I realized I need to check that one out as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I have Ooblets, Temtem, Diofield Chronicle, and I think I'll add the Outbound Ghost because I thought that looked pretty cool.
It's neat looking, right?
It does.
Maybe I'll have a PC by then to play it. We'll see. And then, Bobby, why don't you tell us about the 50 games you're going to play in September?
Well, Ooblets and Temtem, 2 games I've been playing for a while. Absolutely going to do it. Same with Grounded. Those were coming out of early access, so I feel obligated and excited to play those. But Railbound I already have because of the testing. And then Slime Rancher 2, as I mentioned, and then Moonbreaker and Railgrade. So I have a very fucking busy month ahead of me. This is the summer of George for me. It's all there.
You can say that now.
I can say that.
You finished watching Seinfeld, so you can. Make all these
I finished it. I am in it now.
Your top button. It's in a weird place.
A little high.
It makes or breaks the shirt.
Yes, it does.
It's the second button. Sorry.
Second button.
Yeah.
It's a great callback too. How they ended that. That's
full circle.
Full circle. Well, we got everything that we need, right, to wrap this thing up.
Guess so.
I think so.
To wrap it up, Bobby.
Let me get us on the right page here to do so, and I will wrap it up. Apologies for everybody. I just need one quick stop here.
Fine.
And I will have the right
man,
thing.
So many damn games this month. Why do they make so many games, Johnny?
Well, I think this is like an interesting
Money.
I feel like this is the onslaught for us. So let me transition us to the credits here. There we are. All right, we'll be quick to wrap up because it's been a long episode. Thanks for tuning in. Chase, thank you for getting this all lined up. Anybody who's tuned in, chat has our social links. The past week, we checked out Midnight Fight Express on stream. Mileage may vary depending on what you're looking for. Tinykin, which we're all really hot on. We have a quick look up right now. You can go check that out on youtube.com/casual hour. Tonight, we told you all about the games coming out in September, as well as some of the games that we're most excited about. Thursday, we've got a quick look going up for Rollerdrome, another hot title that we've been checking out. So if you're listening to the podcast, go over to YouTube and check that out. If you're watching, go to YouTube tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then Friday night, right now, I think I'm going to play Hard Space Shipbreaker, but I will be doing a solo stream that night, and I will figure out something to play. But I think Hard Space might be the one. But again, dealer's choice. So I will come up with something to play that night. Tune in 10:30, hang out with Bobby for a bit, and we'll have a good time. Chase, what is going on with you?
I think I've mentioned it once or twice. I bought a house, and this weekend I'm moving into it fully.
Congrats.
These boxes are for. These are the last boxes, plus all this goddamn furniture that needs to be moved over. So the next time you see me, I'll be in a new place. When's the next time you'll see me? I don't know. If something goes terribly wrong, maybe I won't be here for Casual Mondays next week. I can't imagine I wouldn't be here for the podcast on Wednesday, but I think it should at least be a pretty smooth process to get my internet moved over, so I'm hoping to be here for Casual Mondays as well. And then once I get all set up and I'm in a better spot, look forward to me starting up all the shows that I've put on hiatus now. Chase K Plays, where I want to get back to SteamWorld Heist, and Gamers in the Go, which I feel like Johnny sends me something every couple weeks of like, hey, this would make for a good show. And I'm like, goddamn right, it would make a good show.
Yeah.
I just need to make shows again. So lots of fun stuff in the hopper. Need to move into my fucking house. So we'll get there.
Johnny, let's play some more Fortnite. That's all we need to say. And everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. We'll be back live Friday night. Talk to y'all soon.